Now we are going to be looking at the ingest process. So the ingest process is the process of moving the data from our local machine, that's from the on-premises data from SQL Server to Azure and to our data lake. So we are going to use what we call the Azure Data Factory to do that. So to start, let me go to my Azure portal. So I click on, I would like to open this on a new tab. I click on Azure Data Factory, wait for it to load, then launch the Data Studio. So this is launch. So this is our Azure Data Studio. So there's a lot of things that you can do from here. You can do ingest, move your data from one location to another, or from one database to the other. You can transform your data and the rest and do so many other things here. So if you look at your side, we have the Data Studio menu and ADF menu, and we have the O, which is where we are. We have the author. These are all the Azure Data Factory resources that you can use. We have that the pipeline, chain data capture, data set, excuse me, and the rest. Then we have where we can monitor what your pipeline is doing when you are running your pipeline and what is going on, the steps. Then we have the manage. This is where you manage your connection, your link service, your Git configuration, and the rest. And we have the learning center. If you are new to Azure Data Factory, you can always come here. There's a lot of helpful tutorial that you can see here that you can use to learn. So without taking our time, let's go into creating our pipeline. So to start, I'm going to click on the plus sign. So what do we want to do? We want to create a pipeline. So you can create a data set, you can create data flow, Power Query, and the so. But now I'm creating a pipeline. So I click on pipeline. So I have to give my pipeline a name. So you come to the right-hand side of your screen, you can see name. So I'm giving my pipeline copy data because I want to copy my data from on-premises to Azure. So, and we have a lot of activities. These are all the activities that can be used, that can be performed during a pipeline, doing a pipeline configuration. So you can move your data, you can use Azure functions and many other. You can use data lake, analytics. Then these are the general ones that are common, which is create, store procedure, lookup, and all of that. But for this, we just want to copy a data. But what I will be doing is that we are copying our data from the SQL Server here. And these are all the tables that we have. These are all the tables where we're doing the customer. I want to copy the list of all my customer first. Then I'll show you how to move all over every other data automatically. So to do that, I'll come here and click on copy data. So I'm going to drag this to the workspace. So this is the task, the activity that we want to perform. And if you look at this page, you can see there's a red icon here, like a warning icon here that means we need to do some configuration for our source and for our sink. So what is our source? Our source is our SQL server. And what is that means the data that is coming from here. And what is our sink? Our sink is our storage account. This is our sink, which is the storage account. Let me go back here. So our sink is our storage account, which is our destination. And let me say our destination. So we want to move the data from this SQL server. We want to move all of this. Select the selector 1000 rows. Okay, we are moving all of this data. We are bringing it inside the bones folder. Okay, you can see that this folder is empty. So if you look at our architecture, so that means we are moving the data from here to this place. We are moving data from here to here. So let's go to our data factory. So to do that, I'm going to give my copy data a name. Let me leave it as copy data one. Okay, so I'll go to my source and I'll click on new because we don't have a data source. So now it's asking us that where is our data? So I'm going to click on new. So if I click on new, I'm going to select SQL. server. So I select SQL server, then I click on continue. So I'm going to give it a name. Source. So this is my source data. So then here I have to create a link service. So what do we mean about link service? You can see that I don't have any link service here. So link service simply means, so link service is a connection between this line. This is my link service. So I'm going to create a link service and name it something like this. I'm going to create a link service and name it LS, which stands for link service on-prem. So it is going to be my link service. So that means this link service is connecting my on-premises database to my Azure Data Factory. Meanwhile, I also need another connection between my Azure Data Factory to my data lake. So I'm going to also create another link service from this one to this. But when we get there, I'm going to show you how to do that. So to create the link service, I'll click on here and I'll say new. So it's telling me what type of my name. I'll say ls web, because this is the link service to my on-premises database. I can put a description, connection to um, on-prem database. So what type of connect via integration runtime? So what type of integration runtime are we going to use? If you are connecting within Azure, then you will use auto resolve integration runtime. But in this case, this is outside Azure. So as a result of that, I need to use what we call a new integration runtime, self-hosted integration runtime. In order to do that, I'll click on this, then click on continue. Yeah, so I'm going to give my integration runtime a name. I'm going to name it integration I have okay, that's integration runtime on web. So it's going to be a self-hosted, and I'm going to click on create. So now it's created. So the next thing I need to do is to click here to launch the Express setup for this computer. So when I click on this, it will automatically download the integration runtime. Then all I have to do is just to install. Click on this. So after your installation, you will have something like this. IRS on-prem integration runtime. Can you see? So that is the name of my integration runtime, and it's running. We created our integration runtime. You can see. Then what's our server name? Come to your SQL. So this is our server name. Can you see? So you type that here. Then which database are we going to be working on? Adventure Work LT 2025. Copy the database name, put it here. Then what type of content, how do we want to connect? So there are two methods that you can use to connect to your SQL Server database. You can either use an SQL Server authentication or Windows authentication. So in this case, we have to use an SQL Server authentication. So that means we need to provide a username and a password. So to do that, we have to create the user. So we come here and we click on new query. So this is the query to create the user. So I have to run this. So the reason why I'm getting this error is because I already have the user on my system. The user is already created. So if I come here, go to security, login, and we have the user. So this is the user. So I already have the user. So let me connect to my database using that username. Connect a local server. Change from Windows authentication to SQL Server authentication. This is to test if our user can connect to our database, then provide the username. We have here ADF, then provide the password, admin as 1234, then click on connect. So that means our user can connect. So in that case, then we go back to Azure, provide the username ADF. So now, instead of us to type in our password here, because it's just going to show like this, instead of us to type it in here, so we have to use Azure Keyboard. I go back to my keyboard, then I click on secret. Say the operation is not allowed. So that means I'm not allowed to create a secret. So in order to do that, I need to come here and give myself access, a role access. So I will come here, role assignment, because if you see, I don't have that keyboard administration role. My name is not there. So I have to come here, add role assignment. Okay. So yeah, this is it. Keyboard administrator. Click on it, then click on next. Then under the user group and service principal, select member. Click on that. Then I'm going to select my name. You have to select your name. Click on select. Then click on next. Click on create and assign. Now, as you can see, I have keyboard administrator. Now, if I go back to my keyboard and I click on secret, now you can no longer see the error message. Then I will say generate/import. So for this, I'm going to put a name, ADF, that's our username, P password. That's the password. Then I'll enter the password here. Can just come here, copy this, copy, paste it, create. Now I have it in my keyboard. So in order to access my keyboard, so I need to select, there should be a link between, let me go back to our diagram. So this is my data factory, which is what we are working with. Now my password to connect to this is inside my keyboard. So there must be, we've created the link service between the Azure Data Factory and the SQL Server database, which is this. So the same way we did this, we need to create another link service as well, which will be ls keyboard. So this is like a connection between our keywords and Azure Data Factory. So that means the Azure Data Factory will go inside the keyword using this connection, pick the password, and use it to log in using this connection to the SQL Server. So let's do that. So I'm going to create another link service here for the keyword. So I'm going to come here, new, and will be ls keyword 1. So in this case, now we are not using integration service, which is outside. It's asking us here for the subscription. We have to select our subscription, then the keyword name. This is my keyword name. Select that. Then authentication method. Saying leave it as system assign manage. Then click on test connection. And see the connection was successful. Click on create. So that means we've created a link between that. So it's not saying secret name. So now we don't have access to the secret. In order to do that, we need to add, we come here, we go back to the IAM control, click on add row, then search for keyword, look for keyword secret user. Yeah, this. So click on this, then click on next. select your username, select, click on next, click on review and assign. So you wait. So if I go to role, you will see it here. So we have the key vault administrator and the key vault secret user. So if I go back to my data factory, refresh, let me see, refresh. It's why let me troubleshoot. Oh, I think I know why. Go back to your keyboard if you are getting that error message. Come to access control, click on add, role assignment, keyboard, select keyboard secret user. Then here you select, you don't use this. This is what I used earlier. So you use manage identity. Select member, select your adjust subscription, your manage identity, select data factory, click on it. This is my Azure data factory name. Click on select, next, review and assign. So let's go back to my secret, go back to my Azure data factory, refresh. Now I can select my keyword ADF password. This is the keyword, the password key that I created. So I'll select that. Then the secret version that I want to use, the latest version, encryption, mandatory, but let's click on test connection and see. What we are trying to do here is we are trying to connect to the SQL Server database on premises. So now the connection failed. All you need to have to do if you get this error, just change it to optional, then test connection. And you see connection successful, click on create. So now we've created our link services, which is our using, and we've connected to the database on premises. So if I click on refresh this, now it's asking me which table do I want to copy. Okay, you can see that I have the list of all my table. So, but most of the time it's possible you don't see the list of all your tables here. What you can do is that you need to grant access to that username. And to do that, the easiest way to do that is for you to come here in SQL Server, go to your security, go to login, come to this user, double click on it. It's going to show you like this. Then go to server roles, user mapping, and you check. This will not be checked, so you check adventure work. Automatically, that will give you access to all your. It will give that user access to all your tables in this database. But that user will not have access to every other table. Then you just click on OK. So come back here. I want to copy my customer data. Just click on this, then click on OK. So we've created a data set from our source. So by the time it completes, you can see that the red one that is on top is no longer showing. So now we need to configure our destination, which is the storage account. So first thing we need to create is the link service. The other time that we created a link server between the two, we started from here. But there are other ways to go about it without doing it from here. So if I come here to, if you can see under manage, if I click on manage and I go to link services, if you remember, these are the two link services that we create the earlier. One is for the SQL Server on premises, and the other one is for the key vault. So in this case, I'm going to create another link service, which will be for the storage account. So I will just say new, I will say storage. So I'll pick this one, Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. So what we are just doing is that we are just creating the connection between our data factory and the storage account, which is this. So we are creating a connection between these two. That's what we are doing now. So let's continue. You click on the storage account, click on continue. So I'm going to link this link service as using the same naming convention I've used LS Data Lake Storage Account. So that is the name of my link service. It's going to be auto resolve integration runtime authentication key. Then we are not going to select any authentication. You just leave it as account key. Then adjust subscription, select your subscription. Then we need to select our storage account name. Don't forget our storage account name, which is SA Olu Data Engineer. That storage account name. Then click on this. You should be able to see your storage account. I'm going to select that. Then I will see test connection. So connection successful. I'll click on create. Can you see? So now we have our third link service. So if I go back to my pipeline, I go back to my pipeline, I go back to my copy data, I go back to my sync, then I will say new, then I will say storage account, storage account. So what is the type of data set? The type of data set is packet format. So I will say continue. Now we're saying DS, I will name it DS. Okay, that is data set, packet. Then what is the link service? Instead of me to create a new link service, you can see that I've already created. This is the link service I've created. I will just say, I will just select it. So you can create your link service before coming to do all your copy data configuration. So I've created my link service and I've selected it. Then the path, just click on browse. And which folder do we want to select? Just select the bronze folder. So that's where we are going to store our data. Click on OK. Then click on OK. Yeah, that is done. You can see this is done. So we are no longer seeing that. So if you click on publish all, is like saving all our work, everything we've done so far. So it's always good to do that. Publish all. So after saving all our work, then we click on, so you can validate everything we've done. But let's click on debug and see. So you can see now it's running the pipeline. Pipeline is running. So you can check that from monitor. And you see it's running the pipeline and it says in progress. Is it successful? So if I go to if I come back to my pipeline, yeah, can you see? Copy. Can you see the check? So let's go and check our storage account. This is my storage account. If I click on refresh, in which folder do we copy our data? The bronze folder. Let's open it. Can you see our data here in packet format? Now I want to be able to copy all this table at once. With a click of a button, I want to move all the table in this database with a click of a button. All the tables here. So let's do that. So I'm going to create a new pipeline. Done with it. We're done with that. So click on new pipeline. So I'm going to give my pipeline a name, copy tables. Copy tables. So we've named our pipeline. So the next we are going to loop because we want to select all the table. So we need to loop to it, each of those table one at a time. So I look for loop. So this is my loop activity. I'll bring it here. So then I need to set the settings. Source data set. I'm going to click on data set on-prem SQL server. That is where our data is coming from. But instead of use it, if you're selecting a table here, we have to use query at this place. So which query are we going to put in here? If I come back to my SQL, I have this query here. Let me copy it. So if I run it, so what's this query going to do? It's going to select the schema name separately and also the table name. So that is what we want. I don't need the build version and error log table. I don't need the DBO table. I only need the sales LT table. So I'm going to copy this script and take it to my Azure Data Factory, paste it here. If I say preview data, now it's showing me the sales LT and the address table. But why do I have just one row showing? If I close it and I uncheck this, then click on preview data again. So now I have all my table in this format. Okay, so that is just a preview. So after doing that, I can debug this loop. I can say debug. Now it's running. So succeed. So this is completed. So if you look at this lookup activity, you can see that this is the input and this is the output. So what is the input? The input will be my SQL query. Let's click on it. Can you see? This is my select query that is here from the schema. And so what is the output? What does the output look like? This is a JSON file of the schema name, CZLT, and the table name, customer name, like that for all the tables. This is for all the tables. Now, the next step is at the completion of this, what should the pipeline do next? So we need to bring up another activity, which is, if you look at this, this is on success, what should happen? This is on fail, what should happen? And the lastly, can't get my mouse here. Okay, on completion, what should happen? So I'm going to bring another activity, which is for each. So I want to say for each of those tables, what the system should do something. So I'm going to say on success, move to this. So that means if this lookup activity is successful, then move to this. So and what will happen? So it's passing the output from here. The output of this execution to the for each. So, and when it gets here, then we need to do the setting. So that means for each of those tables, what do we want to do? So I'll come here, then I will select item, then click on add dynamic content. So what we want to do here is we want to be able to tell the system that from the output that is coming here, what you need is the value. Okay, so you click on activity type, activity. Sorry, there should be an at sign before activity. Can you see? Lookup one dot output dot value. So that means it's going to pick the value of from the JSON file, and the value is going to be the schema name and the table name. Click on OK. So this is done. So now, what is the for each? For each value, we are picking the value. What do we want to do with that value? We want to do a copy data. So we click on add activity. So what is going to do with the value? Copy data. Can you see? So you click on edit. So now we have our copy data. So now we are now going to follow the same process that we did initially to copy each of those tables one after the other. So we start from the source. Click on source. What is the data set? On-premises, on-prem SQL Server. Then, so we're also going to use the query. Use query. Click inside it. But this time around, we are going to select a dynamic content because now we've passed our schema name and our table name to the for each loop. So we want to be able to tell the system that the pipeline that for each of these select for this table and the schema name. This is what you should do. So you add a dynamic content and we type in, you use art, start with art, open a bracket, concat. Okay. So concat, you can press enter to automatically select it. Then this time around, we need to put our select statement. Select asterisk from space. Now we want to pass the table name. We want to pass the schema name, which will be item, press enter, dot schema name. Then you concatenate it with a dot, then put a comma, type item, enter, dot table name. So this is the same thing like saying select asterisk from sales LT dot address, sales LT dot customer, like that. So that is done. We click on OK. So this is set. Then we go back to our destination. So we are going to select the same DS backward, that is the data set. So in this case, we have to use a parameter. So we have to go back to the backward and set a parameter to be able to pick the schema name and the table name so that we can have the table for address stored in sales LT and address folder. So for us to achieve that, so we're able to have something like this, we have to go to open. Then here we have to set the path. We have to set the path name. So in order to achieve that, we are going to have the main folder, which is bonds. Then we want it to follow a directory pattern whereby we have the sales LT folder, and inside it we have another folder for address and for each of those table names. So to do that, we have to set a parameter. So say new. For us to be able to identify this is a parameter, I'm going to put P in front. So sales schema name. Can you see? I add another one. P table name. Now that we have our parameter, so if we come here, if we go back to copy all table, you can see the parameter that we added, P schema name and P table name. So we need to set the value. To set the value, we click on this. This will be item dot schema name. Click on OK, and this will be item dot table name. And we click on OK. So I think I made a mistake here. Let me. That should be item. Okay. There should be @sign font. Okay. Now we've set the parameter. We are now going to go and set the file path. So we go back to open. Then we now need to set the file path. So from the bonds directory, we want to create the sales LT folder. So we come here, click on this, say at concatenate con string schema name. I always like it to do it like this. Click on the schema name, then add at. After the at, open brackets, concat, a, and type in CAT, put an open bracket, data set. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. This should be, yeah, it should be this data set. Then put a comma, then slash. Then add a comma again. No, this should be a quote, quote slash, add a comma, then add this table name, add the table name, then close the bracket. Oh, no, close the bracket, and close it. Yes. So that means we are telling it to concatenate the table name, the schema name, create a folder, schema name, create another directory, the table name. Then we click on OK. Then we move on to the next one. Here we need to add the file name. What will be the file name? The file name will be the table name. And we do the same thing here. Contact, open brackets, schema name, table name, comma, then add a quote. You don't have to put a space, quote, dot, backward. So that will give us a backward file. Close your brackets. Yeah. So this will be the table name. So that means in this directory structure, we have something like this. Let me see, click on OK. So that is set. So that is done. Now we can publish. Publish. So publishing. Yeah, completed successfully. Now we can now go back to our copy data. So now everything is okay. We've run this. This was successful. If you click on this line, you can see that we have an output here already, which is there. Then now we can run our debug. Debug. Fill, copy all tables, pipeline. Let me see, view error. Why they did fill? View error details. Let me check. Why did fill? This is okay. This is okay. This is okay. Edit. Let me check this. Okay, so this is underlined. That means there's something wrong. Same schema name dot table name. What is on? Oh, okay. This should be a bracket. No, no, no. This should be like this. Yes. I think this is it. And publish it. Then good. Go back and say debug. Yeah. Now our pipeline is running. Okay. So that means it's going to go to our SQL Server database, copy each of these table one after the other. It will loop over it and copy all the data because we use select as query. So it's going to copy all the data and place them in our, yeah, it will place them here. Okay, yeah, you can see it has already created the folder, the SLT folder. So it's like, let me go back to the container. So from this container, we have our bronze. So if you click inside the bronze, then we have our sales LT. Now it's going to create folder for each of those tables. We have the address and copy the file here, backward and address the backward to the table. Yeah. So now let's go back to, can you see everything is succeeded? Now we've copied all our data from our on-premises database to our storage account. So the next step will be to transform our data, then move it to move it from. So the next step will be now to the transformation phase. Now we have our data here. Now we need to transform our data and move it from bronze layer to the silver layer.